The moment Alexandra Pierce stepped into the quiet restaurant, the air around her shifted. The heels of her polished black pumps clicked against the marble like the ticking of a countdown, and for a split second, she wondered if fate had finally run out of patience. She was known across Chicago as a woman who built her empire from ashes, yet in that instant, a chill ran down her spine because destiny had just placed a ghost from her past into her present. The man waiting at the table, the man she was unknowingly here to meet on a blind date, was the same boy who shattered her heart 12 years earlier. Noah Carter, the one she never forgave, and the one she never truly forgot. If you believe in second chances, in healing, and in the unexpected turns life gives us, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps more than you know. Alexandra had not become the CEO of Pierce Innovations by being fragile. She had clawed her way to the top through 15-hour days, failed partnerships, near bankruptcy, and a strength she didn't know she had. The city saw her as unbreakable, a woman with a steel spine and a polished smile, but as she stood frozen at the edge of the table, watching Noah lift his head with a look of disbelief, she felt like the 19-year-old girl who once cried in a borrowed car on a small town street, while Noah walked away without explanation. Back then, he was her entire world. Back then, she thought love could hold anything together. She learned the hard way that it couldn't. She forced her expression neutral as she approached. The restaurant was still and quiet, with white tablecloths, wine glasses sparkling under soft light, and the distant hum of a piano playing somewhere behind the walls. To anyone else, it was just a peaceful evening in downtown Chicago. To Alexandra, it felt like walking into the memory she tried hardest to bury. She sat down slowly, keeping her posture straight, her guard up. Over the years, she learned how to hide fear, how to lock away pain behind ambition, but memories had a way of sneaking in through the cracks. Noah looked older, more grounded, wearing a calmness she didn't recognize. His once carefree eyes now carried something heavier, something quieter. As the minutes passed, Alexandra found herself slipping into the undertow of old feelings, anger, nostalgia, regret. She didn't want to feel any of it. She told herself she wouldn't. She was here as a favor for her CFO's wife, who insisted this blind date might help her unwind. If she had known the truth, she would never have come. Yet now that she was here, she couldn't walk away. She needed answers she had never received. Noah was gentle with his words, careful in a way that made Alexandra's chest tighten. He didn't try to charm her, didn't try to pretend the past didn't exist. Instead, he spoke like someone who had lived through storms of his own. He told her he had returned to Chicago only 3 years earlier. He told her he was no longer the impulsive boy who once ran away from love he wasn't equipped to handle. He told her he left because he was terrified of failure, of commitment, of not being enough for her. But most of all, he left because his family was falling apart in ways he couldn't stop, and he didn't want Alexandra to be dragged into that darkness. Listening to him made the old wound throb. Part of her wanted to walk away again. But another part, the part that still remembered late-night drives, laughter in parking lots, dreams shared under cheap string lights, stayed seated, listening. As the evening unfolded, something unexpected began to happen. Alexandra felt the sharpness inside her start to soften. She noticed how Noah spoke with honesty instead of excuses, with humility instead of charm. She noticed how he looked genuinely proud when she spoke of her company, of the hundreds of jobs she created, of her relentless dedication to her employees. She noticed that this man, once the weakest part of her past, now seemed to understand her in ways few people could. But this wasn't a romance movie, and Alexandra wasn't a woman who could be swayed by nostalgia alone. She needed truth. She asked him the question she had held inside for more than a decade. Why didn't he come back? Why didn't he fight? Noah's voice broke when he answered. His father had died the year he left. His mother slipped into a kind of grief that swallowed the family whole. He worked 2 jobs trying to keep her afloat. He cut everyone off, not because he didn't care, but because he didn't have the strength to face what he had lost, and what he had lost with Alexandra. By the time he felt ready to return, Alexandra had become a different woman, a woman standing on magazine covers, a woman who seemed unreachable. Hearing the truth didn't magically erase the years of hurt she carried. But something inside her shifted, not forgiveness yet, but understanding. When they left the restaurant, the night breeze brushed against Alexandra's face, carrying the soft scent of lake air and city lights. She wasn't sure how she felt, but there was a strange, quiet warmth in her chest. Maybe closure, maybe something more. Noah walked her to her car, keeping a respectful distance. He didn't ask for another date. He didn't ask for forgiveness. All he said was that he was grateful. Grateful she stayed. Grateful she listened. Grateful she showed him that not all mistakes are permanent prisons. Before she opened her car door, Alexandra realized something profound. Her success had been built on strength, discipline, and resilience, but she had forgotten how to let her heart breathe. She had forgotten that healing wasn't a sign of weakness. She had forgotten that sometimes life returns old people to your path not to hurt you again, but to finish a chapter properly. That night, as she drove through the glowing Chicago streets, Alexandra made a quiet decision. She wouldn't rush. She wouldn't jump into old arms or old wounds. But she wouldn't shut the door either. She would let life unfold at its own pace, without fear. And for the first time in years, she felt light. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe for more emotional stories. Special request, before the story ends. Comment below, everyone deserves a second chance. Alexandra's story reminds us all that even the strongest hearts carry old scars, and sometimes the universe brings someone back not to break us, but to show how far we've grown.